na encouragement na pia niko na shukrani pia kwa uongozi wa kanisa kwa kunipa nafasi siku ya leo na kwa nyinyi kunikubalia nisimame mbele zenu. Jipigieni makofi. Niko na amani ya Bwana na jambo ambalo ningependa kuhimiza siku ya leo, maana ninanihimiza pia na nimekuwa nikinihimiza katika hii wiki. Nachukua muda wa dakika 5 kwa kulisema. Ni jambo najua kila mtu ama dunia inalitafuta, na sisi kama kanisa tuko nalo na hatutumii kufanya training ama to put authority katika dunia. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Nataka kusema kuhusu the power in the word of God, nguvu katika neno la Bwana. Unajua ni mara mingi sisi tunasemanga halifanyiki, halitendeki katika maisha ya Ukristo, lakini jambo ambalo hatujaweza kugundua ni kuwa neno ambalo uko nalo la Bwana lina nguvu zaidi ya matarajio yako. Ni wewe mwenyewe kugundua lile na kuwa na imani katika jina la Bwana. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. The power attracts us to what we have. Nguvu ndio inafanyanga tu jinsi tulivyo. Katika kazi yako, katika maisha yako ya kawaida tu. Ni nguvu katika kutafuta kwako kuna kuweka jinsi ulivyo. Tunakubaliana na hiyo. Na that is the same thing happened to our Christian life. Neno la Mungu ndio linakupa nguvu katika maisha ambayo unaishi. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. I want to speak in Zechariah 4:6 says, "It is not by mighty or by your own power. It is by the Spirit of the Lord." Katika ndani ya the Spirit of the Lord, the power of the Lord manifests in you. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. I'm telling you, the world is looking for power. Haitafuti pesa. Watu watafuti pesa huku katika dunia. Everyone is looking for power to reign. Na kanisa iko na hiyo nguvu katika neno la Bwana. It is for you to discover you have the power of God in you, but you need to start trusting in the word of God. The simple word of God that is spoken to you, it is you to start trusting in that and believing in it. Ndio ikufanyie kazi na iweze kumanifesta katika ndani yako. Ningependa kusoma neno katika Second Kings chapter 6:1-7 na kuonyesha it is you to believe in a God of miracle. God who has power, who can do beyond your expectation, beyond your thinking, beyond what you expect. You know, if at all God can do what you expect, if you can able to interpret the dream of God, then He's not a God. He's just like a man. If you can interpret Him, He's limited. But you don't need to understand. You don't need to know how He works. You just need to believe in Him. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. It says, the company of the prophets says to Elisha, "Look, the place where we meet with you is too small for us. Let us go to the Jordan, where each of us can get a pole, and let us build a place where there is us to meet." And he said, "Go." Then one of them said, "Won't you please come with us? Come with your servant." "I will," Elisha replied. And he went with them. They went to Jordan and began to cut down trees. As one of them was cutting down a tree, the iron axe head fell into the water. "Oh my God," he cried out. "It was borrowed." The man of God said, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, Elisha cut a stick. You can say a stick. And threw it there, and he made the iron float. "Lift it up," he said. Then the man reached out his hand and took it. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. It's good to rejoice in the power of God. It is good to rejoice in the word of God. I'm telling you, this is a miracle. You don't need a rocket science to know that an iron axe head is a heavy thing. Hawezi leka kakijiti ikuje juu. You don't need a professor to tell you that it's impossible for you to understand that iron cannot just come out of water because you make a kijiti ndani. It is because that, for me, it is a miracle. It is a miracle when we took that stick and just put it inside the water, and that axe head just came and floated on the water. It is if God can make an axe head float from water and just come out, He can do for you more than you can think. Amen. He can do you more than you can believe. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. Nothing is too hard for our God. A loss of an axe can be you lost touch in God. Can be that you have lost joy in salvation. Can be that you have lost yourself in the presence of God. But what you just need to do, if you can go back, it is where they showed him the place. You just need to identify where you lost your touch with God. You need to identify where you lost believing in the word of God. And you go back there. You need to understand the points that you lost, the feeling of the presence of God in your midst. Wacha nikwambie, gaining power It is your work. Ni kazi yako, ni juhudi yako kufanya kazi ndio upate nguvu. Even the days you are living in, ndio ukuwe na uongozi ama upate the power to lead ama the power to continue in something, you must go an extra. You must have a zeal for something. You must go there. Lazima ujitume. You upate whatever you are required to get and what you want to. Even the people who want to go to the politics and lead countries and lead the nations, they put a lot of, they invest in whatever they do for them to have what they want to have. It's the same thing. You need to invest in the word of God. By the way, God is a great investor as well as the Satan. And they invest in something that will bring them in turn. Amekuleta hapa because whatever is in you, the world is desperately looking for. You just need to identify who you are, the position you hold in this kingdom, na uifanyie kazi kama hujaifanya tena, so as you can get the power of God. Jesus is the same yesterday, today and tomorrow. So what he did yesterday, he's able to do it today, and he can sustain it tomorrow. Because the power he had the time that we read and we have been reading is the same power that he has today. Wacha kusema akina Petro walikuwa wanafanyiwa na wanatendewa. Wacha kuona kama they were extraordinary people. I was reading in 1 Peter chapter 1, they say, they received faith as precious as us. So the same faith they had is the same faith we have. You just need to believe in the word of God. If he heals, believe that he heals and it shall work for you. The manifestation of work and in your life, it comes from believing without trying to understand. Says what was happening to justify Yesu and everyone in the world, the Antichrist is all over, who is Jesus, how can he be born like this? Don't try to justify what a human might do. He's not a man. He's not a man. Just believe in who he is, believe in the word of God, even if that you have lost the touch of God through your bitterness, through the pain, through any tragedy. God is beyond every tragedy that you have gone through. God is beyond every pain that you have gone through. God is beyond every situation. If he can be able to lift an axle down from water, I'm telling you, he can do beyond what you can imagine. You don't need to understand it. That the floating of an iron is just, you have to believe that he can do beyond what you expect. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. Tuko pamoja. If you have not been believing in the word of God, the simple word of God that says, I shall bless you, start trusting in the promises of God. They don't work for us because we don't trust in them. They don't move for you. When God says he directs the blind and give them the way, you have tomorrow is blind. Just trusting in God who directs the blind. And he shall give you a tomorrow. He shall lead your way. He shall make your path straight because he is a God. And he is Yahweh. He is not a man to lie. He doesn't need anyone to be who he is. He's a God by himself, and he blesses, and he only does to those who believe and acknowledge him. Acknowledge Jesus, walk with him, trust in his promises, trust in his word. Wacha kuona kama wewe uko mdogo sana ama hauna nguvu. Stop believing that the mighty people or the great people can have an impact that you have. It starts from you. It starts from me. Believing that Christ dies for me, he did this, and he can do this, and I'm trusting him. Whatever inahitajika ni wewe mwenyewe kujua that with God impossible happens. Impossible happens. It happens for us. The small miracle that happens to you, that ukiamka uko na afya, unaelekea uko hivi na uko na amani, don't ignore. Stop going looking for the big billboards kwa barabara zenye zinasema you go this place, uchote maji, ufanyiwe. Stop looking for those bigger miracles. Start believing in the God that has given you in this altar. Start believing in the power of God in your children, in your generation. By the way, I have something. It's by the way that I have spoken that one. Na mchungaji naomba unikubalie. It's something that I have observed, and you allow me to speak about it. You know, somebody will forgive me for this one, but I don't have an apology to speak it. But I'm speaking it hapa kwa madhabahu. Anajua Mungu atakubariki ukitina ukifanya hivyo. Unajua, when you believe in the power of God and what happens in the altar where you identify, kama wewe una acknowledge haya madhabahu yanatenda na yana nguvu, there are things you don't take for granted. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. There are points that you don't take it for granted. I've observed most of the time when you come to pray for children ministry, huko na katoto kadogo, hata kama hakajui jina na hakajui ataizi siku ya kupekaa tu. You have to obey. You have to start with your kid. Kuja na yeye, anza kumnenea baraka katika yenye inanenewa katika madhabahu. Take your step and start announcing the obedience in that kid. Because hapa si ati wanapokewa, ni baraka wananenewa. And I know most of you don't even wake up and raise your hand on your kid. Wanampaka kama anaweza jitayarisha, anajitayarisha, anaenda shule kama umelala. Wengine wanamtayarisha pia kama umemweka kwa basi. You don't make the initiative of speaking the generation upon them every morning you wake up. And when they have a chance to come and start here, pale lakini unakaanga tu nyuma umemshika. If the time comes ataweza kutembea na umwambie pale ubewa kwambia hapana, who started this that? You know, ulianza na hiyo kutokuwa obedient. You start from where you are, you obey. Akisimama hapa unamnenea, unasema hii mbegu ambayo Mungu ninapanda, wacha inene na inawili. Bwana Yesu apewe sifa. From believing the word that is spoken on the blessing. When you don't do that, you take for granted the blessing that is here. And you never notice when something goes wrong within the limit of huyo mtoto. So I am just requesting na unisamehe, lakini I will not hold that one. Anza kunenea watoto wako baraka. Kama unaweza mshika, haelewi katika kutoelewa wewe unaelewa kwa niaba yake. Simama na yeye hapa, wacha anenewe baraka, wacha anenewe kuendelea katika mambo yote. Ni by the way, Mungu awabariki. So continue trusting in the power of God. The moment you do that, the moment you mwambia kanyaga pale ni wakati wa baraka, hana kitu ya kurudi nyuma. You started early. You made a pathway for him or her. And he has no other point at have to follow mpaka wakati atafika. Maybe kama sisi, I will the Lord did it for me through my parents, through this one, because somebody laid the foundation, laid the cost for that person to be there. Mungu awabariki sana.